Hello, my friend. Today we are going to hold a tournament between mutants and the game Stalker 2. All pairs are formed randomly, and their further path depends only on their own strength and motivation. So here's the first pair. Blinddog and Tushkan enter the arena. Wow, this is a great start. The fight ends in a matter of seconds. Blinddog confidently moves on to the next round and will be there waiting for his next opponent. The next pair is Chimera versus Burer. We know how strong these opponents are. Let's watch their fight. From the beginning of the fight, Burer realizes what a mess he's in, so he immediately picks up the assault rifle that was lying nearby and shoots the enemy. However, Chimera has such powerful armor and a strong attack that the slow Burer cannot withstand the onslaught and falls down dead, blaming fate for such a draw in this tournament. The tournament is moving fast. The next pair is PseudoDog and Snork. We are looking forward to a very interesting match. I wonder who will win. PseudoDog's strong point is the ability to quickly spawn a large number of its copies. Snork's strength is its speed and instant attacks. It seems that Snork is trying to destroy all the copies of the enemy and does not understand where the main enemy is. Despite the fact that copies die after one touch, PseudoDog instantly replenishes their number. It seems to me that this is one of the leaders of our championship that will be able to go far. Snork clearly doesn't have time to destroy a copy and is sorely lacking in intelligence. If only his mind was as fast as his movements, he might have a chance. With each passing second, the battle is coming to an end. And so far, Snork hasn't figured out how to get around PseudoDog's awesome strategy. And so it is. PseudoDog copies are tearing Snork apart in short bites, taking lives. We applaud Snork's courage. He fought bravely, but the enemy was more cunning and better prepared for this fight. PseudoDog moves on to the next round, and I'll be looking forward to seeing this monster's next battle. For now, we continue the qualifying stage with the next pair of Bloodsucker and Flesh. Both monsters have good chances of success, but bookmakers still favor Bloodsucker. Let's see who will be stronger. As always, Bloodsucker's tactic is a swift attack from stealth, but Flesh reacts quickly to the enemy's attack. The fate of the fight will be decided by the amount of armor each fighter has. Flesh can smell Bloodsucker and is always ready to attack. Therefore, Bloodsucker changes his tactics and switches to just exchanging blows. The fighters stand in front of each other and strike back, investing as much as possible in each movement. That's it. The bookmakers were right. Bloodsucker wins, even though Flesh fought well. The next pair surprises with its difference. So, Pseudogiant and Bayun enter the arena. The difference in size is impressive. From the first seconds of the fight, it becomes clear that Bayun's magic does not work on Pseudogiant. You have to rely on physical strength alone, no matter how strange it sounds. Bayun has speed on its side, but Pseudogiant is not only huge, it is also quite agile. It is immediately noticeable that the mutant has worked hard in the gym preparing for this tournament. The hours spent on cardio exercises were not in vain. Endurance will definitely play one of the most important roles in this tournament. Let's get back to the match. Bayun maneuvers and uses objects around him to protect himself from Pseudogiant's massive attacks. It is interesting that such a small creature causes significant problems for the giant using only its speed. The cat's tactic is to run away to a distance and jump towards the Pseudogiant with a run. I'm sure Bayun is aiming for the eyes and trying to tear them out. Pseudogiant tried to cover with powerful strikes from the top, but he can't keep up with the moving cat and constantly misses. The only advantage that becomes a problem for Bayun is Pseudogiant's ability to deal damage over a large area. The giant jumps up and lands on the ground. This action shakes the ground, and the shockwave in the air causes significant damage to everyone nearby. It is amazing how much strength the cat has, how bravely it rushes into battle. But it seems that Pseudogiant has his own plan for this fight. He is unstoppable. Another exchange of blows. It is noticeable that Bayun cannot withstand the pressure, and these are his last attacks in this fight. Well, we can only applaud the cat for his efforts. He's made Pseudogiant run a lot in the fight. But the fight is over. The qualifying round is coming to an end, and we have to watch the fight of the last participants of the tournament. Controller and Boar enter the arena. As we've already seen, monsters' psi abilities have no effect on opponents. Therefore, it is very interesting whether the formidable controller will cope with a simple boar, whose brute strength will win. Yes, the controller has the ability to pick up zombies to help him. But this is an arena. There are no zombies here, so there are certain limitations, and opponents will have to rely only on their physical abilities. The fight has already started, and we can see that the boar is resistant to controller attacks. The boar has a pretty good tactic. It realizes its advantage in speed, so it attacks in waves. Its task is to run up, hit the opponent with a swift attack, and run back. Controller is too clumsy in this regard, so he is clearly bored in the arena and attacks the boar when it runs up on its own. The controller has only one moment to make one hit, so he puts in a good job of it. All attempts to influence the boar with psi skills fail. It looks like controller is showing off his skills. Oh no, it is attacking the operator, even at this distance. That's incredible. Well, controller, be careful not to pay the price for such impudence. I advise you to focus on the enemy's attacks as much as possible. But no, controller will not calm down. It attacks everyone it senses nearby. Unfortunately, that's why the cameraman can't get closer to the arena to see the fight in detail. It is too dangerous. Fierce opponents. One has an immense amount of energy to run and attack. The other has a lot of armor and powerful arms. Events are developing rapidly. There are only a few seconds left before the denouement. The controller is clearly feeling very confident, and he attacks the operator again and again. Another run of the boar. It manages to strike several times and falls down. That's it. The fight is over, and so is the qualification. We have the winners, and 3 incredibly interesting pairs in the next round. The next pair is Blinddog versus Chimera. Oh no, this match is over in a matter of seconds. It seems Chimera didn't even realize what it was, and Blinddog can only blame the draw. Well, a tournament without rules is not fair. Enter PseudoDog and Bloodsucker. Well guys, it's time to find out who is the stronger of the two and move on to the next round. Bloodsucker immediately attacks with a blood suction, hoping that it will disorient the opponent. But PseudoDog has its own tricks up its sleeve. I wonder what tactics the opponents will choose. We can see that Bloodsucker, like the previous opponent of PseudoDog, does not understand where his main opponent is. Bloodsucker tries to act quickly and attacks from its stealth mode, and PseudoDog stays true to its winning tactics. Summon many copies and gradually deal damage to the enemy. It seems that PseudoDog is not at all confused or afraid of Bloodsucker's ability to go into stealth mode. The problem for Bloodsucker is the same as for Snork. It is not understanding how to find the main enemy. Bloodsucker destroys copies one by one, but it doesn't do this very well either. With its long arms, Bloodsucker often fails to reach the dog below and simply misses. At this time, the copies tear him apart. Despite its lightning speed, Bloodsucker simply does not have time to destroy the copies. PseudoDog confidently holds the course of the fight in his paws. It seems that he will be one of the leaders of this tournament. Interesting. According to the results of the next match, there will be 3 winners in our tournament who will play 1 match against each other to determine the best. Chimera is already among the top 3. The course of this fight suggests that PseudoDog will join her, and we will be looking forward to seeing the winner of the Pseudogiant and controller pair. Well, this interesting match is over, but our tournament continues and we are moving on to another interesting pair. Who are you rooting for? Let us know in the comments. So, the final match between the final stage, Pseudogiant and Controller are invited to the arena. Both opponents are maximally charged for victory. Despite his slowness, Controller has his strengths, and he will certainly demonstrate them. Pseudogiant, on the other hand, intends to destroy the opponent. This monster is well prepared, and it is not afraid of any conditions. Interestingly, Controller instantly forgot about the operator and is no longer distracted. Is it really hot in the arena and there is no time to be bored? Controller attacks with a psi attack and tries to deal damage when the enemy is nearby. Pseudogiant has the same tactics. It actively pressures the enemy, replacing single paw attacks with its incredibly strong mass damage ability. Both enemies have a sufficient amount of armor, but in addition to armor, you need to move and deal a lot of damage. Counterattacks from the controller clearly do less damage than he receives in return. It seems the outcome of the fight is becoming obvious. We have incredible final matches and the super final ahead of us, so stay tuned. And in this match, we congratulate Pseudogiant on another victory. Let's give this contestant a little rest. Let me remind you that there are 3 participants left in the tournament. They are Pseudogiant, Chimera, and PseudoDog. To determine the winners, each of the 3 contenders will play 2 matches. The one who wins both of them will be our triumphant. We welcome the first pair to the final. Chimera and PseudoDog enter the arena. So many questions before the fight. We all realize that Chimera clearly has a stronger attack and much more armor, but will it save her from PseudoDog's incredibly complex tactics? Let's find out. The time has come. The match is on. PseudoDog uses standard tactics, and many copies immediately appeared, looking for the enemy to tear him apart. But Chimera's tactics are a little different from other PseudoDog opponents. Look at what this monster is doing. He runs away from the arena, and when the copies are gathered at the edge, he comes back with one powerful jump and destroys several copies at once. Chimera intends to win, but we'll see if it will work out. Many people wanted to defeat PseudoDog, but no one has succeeded yet. According to statistics, among the large number of copies, only a small part of the damage dealt by Chimera hits the main enemy. But it seems that Chimera has a lot of patience. In addition, it is quite successful at avoiding damage from a pack of copies by constantly running away from the arena. Really worthy opponents. There is only one fear that we will have to watch this fight for several days. The battle is dragging on. The opponents are active, but none of them can inflict enough damage to defeat the enemy. I wonder how much endurance the opponents have, but the denouement came instantly. An accurate shot, and Chimera wins. Wow, that was incredible. The first defeat for PseudoDog. Now it becomes even more interesting who will win the next fight. And for the next fight, PseudoDog and Pseudogiant enter the arena. The first seconds of the fight are impressive. The tactics of both opponents are standard. But how easy it is for Pseudogiant to tear apart its opponent's copies. You see, single attacks are powerful, but not very effective. But the ability to deal damage over a large area helps as much as possible. The fight has just begun, but we already understand who will be the winner. PseudoDog has no chance against such an opponent. The recovery of copies is instantaneous, but this is clearly not enough. Another massive attack destroys almost everyone. PseudoDog seems to be getting nervous, and it has a reason to be. To defeat such an enemy, you need a different tactic. Once again, we're surprised at how Pseudogiant copes with its opponent. No opponent has ever defeated this powerful rival so easily. The result is obvious. PseudoDog takes a decent 3rd place and receives a bronze medal in our tournament. This is a worthy result, and a real celebration awaits us. This is the super final, where Chimera and Pseudogiant will meet. Who will win? Write in the comments before you watch. Check your intuition. Everything comes to an end sooner or later. Our tournament is also coming to an end. But now, we are going to see the most anticipated fight. This is a fight for the title of absolute champion in the zone. Chimera and Pseudogiant are in the arena. From the first second of the fight, it becomes clear that the battle will be fierce. The frantic speed, strength, and heavy armor of both opponents leave no doubt that it will be an incredible spectacle. The opponents are not satisfied with the territory on the roof. They are running all over the courtyard of the Scientific Institute, which has kindly provided us with its possessions for this amazing tournament. I should mention the path of both opponents to this final. Chimera defeated Burer, then easily defeated Blinddog, and then had an extremely difficult match with PseudoDog. Pseudogiant defeated Bayun in the qualifiers, and then defeated the controller, and then defeated PseudoDog. All 3 fights were not easy, but it is hard to call them difficult either. And finally, they met in the super final. 2 super legends of the zone. In general, the fight between these opponents lasts more than 10 minutes, so we had to speed up the video to avoid boring you with the viewing. In terms of tactics, both opponents have something in common. They converge and get closer. Chimera does this with a powerful jump. The Pseudogiant conducts its attack with single paw strikes, but there's one major difference. The The Pseudogiant's arsenal is a bit richer due to its area attack. We do not know the armor values. We only know that both enemies have an amazingly high level of armor. Just look at the way these crazy mutants run around the arena. Victory is near. It is so close. No one wants to give in and get second place. Yes, it is a high reward, but it's only second place. No matter what, only one person will remain the undefeated master of the zone today. One can only envy the endurance of the mutants. Both participants fight aggressively. Neither of them can be accused of passive behavior. There is a great desire to win. It seems that this couple could easily destroy 100 soldiers if they work together. Perhaps we will organize such a tournament in the future, if there are any volunteers, of course. So write in the comments what other format you would be interested in watching the battles of the zone's residents. If you thought before that the opponents had an inexhaustible supply of energy, this is not the case. At the end of the fight, it will be noticeable how tired the fighters are. So wait for the championship rounds. It's amazing how the fighters didn't tear the area apart. Their fight can be equated to another anomaly in the zone, and no stalker would want to be in this arena right now. Unfortunately, it is impossible to see the damage inflicted by the opponents on each other. I would love to see the health scale above the head of each fighter in our tournament. It seems a little more, and the building on the roof of which most of the fights of our tournament were held will fall. These crazy mutants spare nothing. There is very little time left before the final denouement. We will soon know the name of the winner. How symbolic that the tournament ends near the sign of the Institute that to some extent gave birth to these mutants. Here are the championship rounds I mentioned earlier. The opponents feel that the end of the fight is near, and both abandon their usual tactics and switch to a frantic exchange of blows. They beat each other up. Pseudogiant changes his pause, apparently tired. Chimera is gnawing at his opponent with powerful attacks. Wow, it happened, and we witnessed it. The winner is Pseudogiant. I'd love to interview the winner, but I think he's such a hot-headed guy that he'd eat me. If you liked this tournament, please like, subscribe to my channel, and watch my previous video where I show my trip to Pripyat to the accompaniment of an amazing Stalker song. Congratulations again to the winner, and see you soon.